What's going on, guys? Boss on here. Yes, I am back with another upload. In another video, I discussed of how I'm currently running out of stories. I mean, I don't really have any more stories to tell on the channel because when it comes to crazy stuff, my life is not that much interesting because I don't really have that much crazy stories to tell on the internet. And that basically the truth is that I don't actually have any more stories to tell on the channel here. So it's basically going to be a while. Until one day, I guess my brain decided to give me a dream for a content idea due to the fact that I don't have any more stories to tell on my channel. But as soon as I woke up from this dream, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is a great story that I can tell on the channel. I mean, at first I wasn't gonna tell a story on the channel because I was kind of lazy throughout the day, but I'm like, yes, I need to absolutely tell the story on the channel because who doesn't love a great story of wanting to save the world from disaster? Or should I say, who doesn't want to tell a story about how they saved the world? But yeah, if you could tell by the title, yes, this is a dream story, and that's what we're going to talk about today, about how I saved the world. And yeah, let's get into it. Anyways, though, I don't think I need to explain of how dream stories work, but I guess I'll say for the second time, for the last time on this channel. But basically, what dream stories are, they're basically stories that happen when you have a dream, and everyone knows what dreams are. You're going to sleep, right? But then you wake up and then you remember what happened. Or should I say, I mean, I guess that's part of it, but what dreams are, it's basically you fall asleep and you start, like, dreaming it, like, things happen. And, like, sometimes it could be boring, but sometimes it could be really crazy. And it just happens for me that today I woke up from a crazy dream, and so that's what we're going to talk about today. So in this dream, apparently I was a scuba diver expert, whatever it was. In this dream, basically I've been doing this for at least like 2 years, and it's basically finding underground treasure from abandoned ships and possibly in caves, which I think is pretty cool in my opinion. But I'm probably not in real life gonna have a job where I go deep down the seas and might possibly find a shark from Jaws or even Megalodon possibly while trying to find treasure under the sea. Because in my opinion, that's not the type of job I just want to work for in the future. Anyhow, I put on my suit, I get ready to dive, and I get my oxygen tank and I dive into the sea looking for treasure. Obviously, I have a flashlight with some equipment, and I'm going down to the sea. So it's at least like 5 minutes, and I get down to the sea. I was checking my oxygen tank, thinking that hey, I may lose, but fortunately enough, apparently in this world, they make machines that have infinite oxygen, which is kind of a good thing. I wish we had this in the real world. But 5 minutes go by, and I get down to the area where I'm supposed to dig, and so I dig and I dig, and I find some the ruby crystals, and that's what my objective is, to get the ruby crystals. However, this wasn't enough, and so I keep digging in another area, and soon I found all I need. So I report back to my boss or manager or whatever and says, I finished everything, I got all the rubies that we have, and they says, okay, now it's time to come up for your lunch break. So I'm about to come up, and that's when I see explosion to my right. And so because I'm curious, why did I say curious? Oh yeah, because the curiosity gets best of me, but I'm curious of what it's over there, and so I go over there, and what I see is possibly something that kind of freaks me out a lot. Is I see a hole like start to develop, and so I look down the hole, and I can see the Earth's core, and I'm thinking, well, how is it not melting even though the water's like going down to the Earth's core? Because I guess, and for some reason, it is because dreams, since I'm in a dream, that things don't really make sense. So that's probably why the Earth's core is not melting. So I'm kind of a little bit freaked out, and I report back to my boss of what's happening, and he doesn't believe me. So he sends out one of his troops to go see what's happening, and then, like, as the troop gets down, I'm just seeing like the hole get bigger and bigger. And then the other person comes down and he says, "Oh my gosh, how is this even possible?" And so I take a video, and we go back to our boss up, and he says, "Oh, you got to be kidding me." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean? you gotta be kidding me. And he says, and my boss says that this happens every once a year, and that if the hole gets bigger, then potentially the Earth's gonna collapse. So every year we have some powerful enough to seal the hole, and so the Earth core doesn't collapse. And so because of this, my boss tells me that, hey, he's gonna send me to go cover the hole, and I'm like, well, why? Well, why do I have to? And he says, well, aren't you the most powerful thing in the universe? I mean, the most powerful human in the universe? And then I become dumbfounded, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I remember, yes, I'm the most powerful human in the universe. I can basically create and destroy anything I want. And so I use telekinesis to fly and to go to the area where the Earth's core I can see. And so I see the hole, and now that is bigger, it's like the size of a football field. That's how big that hole is. And now I'm kind of getting concerned because I see like cracks in the sea. Like I could see like some water like moving away from the other water. I don't even know how to explain this or even how it's possible. Just like, I mean, imagine like an earthquake in the ground but like in the sea. That's just what it looks like because of the Earth's collapsing. And so I had the logical idea is that I should seal the whole entire hole. And so I grabbed some water, surprisingly not that much, and I turn it into stone and shove it down the Earth's core. I mean the hole. And unfortunately, it doesn't fit because now the Earth's core just melts the piece of the stone that I throw down at the hole. And so now I'm like, well, what do I do? But unexpectedly, though, I see someone that resembles one of my friends, and he teleports behind me. And when I look, what name should I give him? Hulk, I guess we'll call him Hulk. I mean, I use this name many times, I guess, but we're going to call him Hulk. That's not his real name, but we're just going to call him that because I like the name, I guess. But his name is Hulk, and he's right behind me, and he says, Boss Hand, you dumbass. You could have just used other materials than besides just using water to turn them into stone, because you're not using, whole portions of water that are big enough. So he uses his telekinesis, right? Instead of like grabbing somewhere else like a tree or whatever, he grabs a meteor from space and shoves it down the hole, and the meteor is big enough so it can seal the hole so the Earth's core doesn't like collapse or whatever. And so the hole is sealed, but I don't know why, but the Earth is still look like it's about to collapse because there's still cracks forming. And then I realized, oh yeah, for the Earth to not collapse anymore, we need to fuse a meteor within the Earth. So Hulk tells me to fuse, and I start to focus more, and I start fusing the meteor within the Earth. So it takes about like 10 minutes. We see like more cracks in the Earth, but as I'm fusing it, like the cracks in the Earth in the ocean start to like disappear. We see like less and less more cracks, and sure enough, the earthquakes in the seas just disappear, like everything's back to normal. And then Hulk says, well, if I didn't help you in time, then this whole entire Earth would have been destroyed. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm sorry I didn't think clearly. I was just so worried that we would die. But the important thing is to know is that we just saved the Earth from collapse. So we get back to the base, water base, underground base. Why underground base? But we get back to the base, the water float tower or whatever. Why am I stumbling my words? God damn. And the boss thinks of how we saved Earth and that the Earth was about to be doomed, but because us two, we saved Earth, and yeah. But for some reason, I had to blink, and so I blinked, and what I ended up is that I ended up back to the real world. Actually, no, I just woke up from my dream after I blinked, and I was like, oh my god, that's the most intense thing that I've ever seen. I mean, it's not the most intense thing I've seen, but it's on the top list. But yeah, after that, I was like, damn, that was a good dream, alright? Saving the world from destroying itself and becoming the hero of the situation seems like a really good story to tell. But yeah, that's a time where I saved the world from destroying itself, and I hope you guys enjoy this story. And if you guys don't mind, I would appreciate you guys pressing the like button on this video. And if you don't press the like button on this video, then a giant meteor is gonna crash into your house. And instead of finding minerals you can sell for billions of dollars, it's just gonna be water, which you'll end up having a flash flood in your local town. But on another note, that's it. That's a story here to tell, and I'm out. Peace.